When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. It's a motto that's been around for years and one two local men have come to live by since both facing a life-threatening diagnosis.
It is a truly remarkable story that News 8's Jennifer Livingston and photographers John Schmidt and Greg White bring us in tonight's In Search of report.
Even though La Crosse Aquinas graduate Garrett Giroux and La Crosse Central grad Johnny Breivik are the same age, had many of the same interests, and ran around in the same circles, they spent the majority of their young lives totally unaware of the other until their lives were both impacted by the same disease. Garrett's diagnosis came first.
I was a junior in college, fall 2005 when I was playing football. I discovered a lump under my arm that I thought was just aggravation from lifting and being an athlete, and ended up not being what I thought it was, and ended up being stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
In 2008, Johnny got his own devastating news.
I was 23. I had just graduated from college, so it was the prime of my life. I was so excited to get started. Had just finished up 4 years at UW Stout, and I knew something wasn't right, but I thought, I haven't been drinking a lot of fluids, maybe something like that. So I went into the ER at Gunderson, and doctor came in and said, "You have leukemia. We think you have leukemia." And I said, "I think you have the wrong room. I'm dehydrated."
And while they faced their battles at different times, it was very much a parallel version of emotions and experiences.
When you hear the word cancer, every other word that comes out of the doctor's mouth or anybody that told you at that point, it just goes mute. It's kind of a little bit of a blur after that. You kind of meet in a conference room that feels like you're having that meeting that you don't want to be having with medical professionals. I said, "Okay, so when do I come back?" And he said, "You're not going anywhere." I was invincible. I immediately thought, well, this is curable, right? I never thought cancer itself was going to ultimately be the end of me. You know, being 23 years old, you're not prepared. You're not even thinking about dying. It's not even remotely a factor that you even considered.
So many similarities, and one more that would ultimately lead to their two paths crossing. Even though they were both in their 20s, their treatment protocol landed them in the pediatric oncology department and into the hands of longtime Gunderson doctor Bob Ettinger.
I'm the last doctor that anybody wants to go to.
I was the oldest being seen in pediatric oncology.
There's clear data in some disease categories, leukemia, acute lymphocytic leukemia being one of them, that young adult patients treated on pediatric protocols do better.
Better outcomes, but with it, a big frustration.
I really didn't have too many people to talk to at all that were my age that had been through a similar diagnosis. There were a lot of kids around.
You'd be surrounded by 8-year-olds or 4-year-olds or maybe even 12-year-olds, but nobody else his age.
I really wanted to speak to someone that had been through something close and get that kind of feedback, and I wasn't able to attain that really easily.
And that's how it happened, how an amazing endeavor was born. Garrett made his desire for a mentorship program known to Dr. Ettinger.
We had a number of programs already in place for other age groups, but not his. So I was all on board.
Garrett got the ball rolling for a program he would later name A Bump in the Road.
I just didn't want someone else to be in my shoes exactly from an emotional standpoint. Being able to say, if I could do this over again, here would be my suggestion, was a really nice step that we took from there.
And so, when Johnny Breivik walked through these doors a few years later with the same concerns and worries Garrett once had,
You just want to know, you want to be assured right away that you can beat this.
Dr. Ettinger knew the first mentor in Garrett's program should be Garrett himself.
He came up to me and goes, "I got a guy for you to meet. You're the same age. He's a lot like you," is what the oncologist kept saying. And he shares in the same wanting to help or make the experience better for others after he's done.
We had a great friendship that developed over kind of my last year of treatment and knew that we were driving towards doing something.
After meeting Johnny when he started his diagnosis and watching him go through a multi-year battle with cancer, Johnny was the perfect partner for me to get involved and to take this thing to the next level.
And take it to the next level. They did.
And what these two young men have been able to accomplish in the past 5 years is truly amazing. So next Thursday in our In Search Of report, a closer look at the Hope Lives Foundation.
Also, Jennifer will show you the many programs and the hundreds of thousands of dollars Johnny and Garrett have raised to make this community a better place for those dealing with a cancer diagnosis.